Hello, Marky Dragon, also known as Marcus Eikenberry in real life, and sometimes you guys send me things that are just messed up. What am I talking about? Well, let me read you this one that came into my YouTube inbox. So this is from, I'm just going to call him Mr. M, and he'll know who he is. I don't really want to use his name. And he says, "Hello, Marky. I don't know if this mail is going to be read in one of your videos because I don't know if it's too big of a niche problem. I like your stand on morality, so I give it a shot. So I got a tricky situation here, and this is him talking. This is what he wrote to me. I got no conscience and was diagnosed as a psychopath as a child. Now, he says to me he's diagnosed as a psychopath, and I decided that I needed to look up what psychopath was, because I thought I knew, but I wanted to look it up for sure. And Wikipedia says psychopathy is a personality trait or disorder characterized partly by enduring antisocial behavior, a diminished capacity for empathy or remorse, and poor behavioral controls. And so, basically, you know, somebody who's a psychopath is a real misfit, and I'll just leave it at that. Let me read more here, and you'll see that this kind of fits. Let's see here. I got aware of my missing conscience when I was about 13 and gave myself a bunch of rules to live by. He's 23 now, 10 years later. Because of these rules, I never went in contract with the law in my life. My problem is I am a sadistic person too. When I explored my sexuality, my fun with pain of others became more and more intense. How did this get on my video game channel? Obviously, I found it interesting. Someday, I tweaked my rules a bit to be able to hit women if they asked for it. Before that, I did not allow myself to cause any violence at all. So what is the point of that one? Is it okay morally to hurt someone if she literally asks for it? He says, "Thanks for giving me an opportunity to speak about this." You know, first off, I can't believe that that's something that came into my YouTube inbox. And my own morals and ethics would tell me that it's not okay to hit a woman even if they ask for it. And, you know, here's my issue, is that you tell all of these things about how messed up you are and everything, and then you through the definition there that you have a lack of empathy, have a lack of conscience, have a lack of picking up on these social cues of other people. And, is that woman really asking for it? Or is she just being abused and taking it? I don't know that you have the faculties to properly determine that. And, I'm sure you may think different or whatever, but what kind of screwed up thing is that? You can go ask your woman, "Can I hit you?" Then what happens whenever you get upset and you raise your fist? Do you punch her? Gosh, I don't know. That's messed up, dude. Really messed up. So I think that I don't know that I will entertain many more questions like this on my channel because it really doesn't have to do with gameplay, it doesn't have to do with entrepreneurialism, but this is my opinion that it's not okay, dude. And there's a reason why you set yourself your limits. It's because you gave yourself these laws or these rules, and it was because you didn't have you just didn't see the issues that were arising, that you were getting yourself in situations that you didn't intend on, and you realized that they had bad consequences by probably going through those situations and learning from each one of them. And so you give yourself rules. I think everybody does this. Some people need it more than others. I have a friend of mine who has Asperger's. And Asperger's is where you see everything in black and white. And I'm not talking visually. I'm talking about, ethically. And so, he would probably say, if he were asked, is it okay to hit a woman if she asks for it? He would probably say, hell no. It's never okay to hit anyone, woman or not. And, except for maybe in like a boxing match or, professional sports or something like that. But he would look at it very black and white, no gray area. And so, in fact, this friend of mine who has Asperger's, one time, he used to work for me. And I had a computer store, and we found a dollar bill laying on the floor. Just $1. And I think it was after hours, or there was nobody in the store, and it was just some dollar bill laying on the floor. It was out in the showroom. It wasn't next to the cash register or anything. And so I picked it up. I saw it. I picked it up, put it in my pocket. He saw me put it in my pocket. And he's like, what are you doing? And I'm like, what? I'm not even thinking about anything. And he's like, I think that's not okay, that you just take that money. You should really put it up in lost and found in case somebody comes in and says they lost $1. I thought, wow, that's insane. Maybe it's $20, maybe $50, $100. Okay. We'd make note of it. I'd still put it in my pocket, but that's just me. And me as the owner of the store. Now, if it was an employee that found it, I would say, well, let's set aside for a little bit and see if anybody comes by asking for it. Not for $1, though. So, we pinned it up on the board and left it there for a few days. Nobody came in and asked for it, and I put it in my pocket. But he learned through a lot of interactions with people being annoyed at him and stuff for things like that, to where that was just kind of, we're like, what the hell? It's $1, and he started to learn. He actually went to some classes and stuff, and started to learn about how other people behave. And so he gave himself rules on how to mimic other normal behavior. And so like that whole dollar thing, well, it's not worth it, and a normal human being would say it's just $1. Well, he learned to give that up, to give up control of what he wants to do on that, and to apply rules to it of how he can live his life and be more normal and be a more productive person. And I think he was diagnosed with Asperger's probably it was about 15 or 20 years ago, and that was kind of early in the time whenever this was becoming known as to what it was, and that was after he worked for me, and we didn't know. We just knew that he was sometimes an asshole, with his opinions and everything. And now we have a better understanding of it, and he has a better understanding of how he thinks. And so he gives himself rules. Now, some other things that are funny about him is that he had no filter on his mouth. And you're like saying, is it okay to hit women? Well, he had to figure out, is it okay to talk about women or to mention things in front of them or whatever. And so he would do some things that really, we looked at him and going, what the hell? Because he would see a pretty woman and he would say, wow, like to take her home, you know, okay, fine, you know. And then he would, he would, well, I don't want to give any negative connotations, but he would say inappropriate things. And he wouldn't care that there was another woman standing right next to him, including his wife. And it was because he didn't have this filter on him. He just thought it and said it. And his wife learned, knowing that he wouldn't act on that because he knew that it was wrong. It was very black and white. She knew that he wouldn't act on that, and they've been happily married a long time. And but she had to put up with hearing that. I don't think he says that anymore. I think he's learned on that. But I remember several times, you know, I told him one time, I said, you know, I think that you don't realize some of these things, and you do some of these things that are socially very awkward and everything, and I'm just going to start telling you when I see them. I'm just going to start telling you. And that way you can decide how to, you know, handle something like that in the future. And that was very awkward sometimes, you know. You know, don't talk about my mother that way. You know, I'm standing right next to you. You say she's hot? Okay. That's about as far as you go. Don't say anything else. You know? So, great guy though. Love him to death. So, we've been friends for a very long time. Anyway, I think that it's possible for you to be socially acceptable, and that there are lines that you shouldn't cross. And this is just my opinion on everything, but I really think this should be one of your rules, that even if a woman asks for it, you don't hit her. And you know, if you want another opinion, go out and get another opinion. Or all of you who've watched this video this far want to give an opinion on whether or not it's okay. Well, actually, no. There's so many trolls. You can't believe any of the comments that you see on YouTube here. So don't use that as any sort of barometer. But ask, you know, ask some of your friends, both male or female, both. You know, pose the same thing. If they're really friends, they understand how you are. And they're very compassionate people and understanding people to be your friend if you're a psychopath, because you're probably a very hard person to deal with. And so maybe they just take you in small doses that, you know, maybe we'll go out to dinner or something, but we're not hanging out all evening type thing. So anyway, I wish you much luck. And thank you for the question. I'm not encouraging any more questions of that type, but there we have it. Marky Dragon, take care.